Okay.
Hi, Liz. What's up?
Hi.
We can't use that.
You should define success before it comes, so that when things start happening, you won't term that as success, and it won't be based off of what other people think. I'll give you an example. Right now, you have a podcast. There's a goal that you have. There's a reason why you started Modern Day Campfire. But if I come to you and I tell you, oh, but you have 1,000 subscribers, that means you're doing well. But your goal was something different. It may shift your focus to start, trying to get more subscribers, even buying subscribers, because that is what I have defined as success to you. But you see, it was defined prior, you will stick to the course, whether the subscribers come or not, whether you get the brand deals or not. Yeah, so that is.
We read our state of consciousness.
Yeah.
If your life is revolving around love, and my life is revolving around money, given the same article, you will understand what love is, and I will understand what money really is.
Yeah.
We read our state of consciousness. So when that person is viewing that video,
So it's like a bias.
they are watching the state of consciousness. So sometimes they might fail to see what I was putting out. Like I'm talking about eggs, but your state of consciousness is about chickens. So you will just try to look at the chickens in it. Sometimes when you don't see the chickens in it, you might give me the negative feedback. Others might shut down.
The person who can define purpose to me is my creator, because he knows why he made me, right? Yes. So you can be going in one direction, but you're going fast, but it's the wrong direction. The wrong direction, the wrong destination. So I usually find myself in spaces where I'm thinking, will I wake up 10 years from now and wish I had done things differently or taken a different path? So much of it has been me going back to God, honestly, because I'm like, I cannot try to do this life on autopilot. All right. Hi.
Hello, wonderful humans. Welcome to Modern Day Campfire by your host, Martin Sambia. Modern Day Campfire is a YouTube podcast where mental wellness meets creativity through visual arts, meaningful conversations, and storytelling. In Modern Day Campfire, we create a warm and honest space where we explore emotions, share experiences, and ignite healing. And today, our magnificent guest goes by the name Liz. Karibu sana Liz.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And today we are going to talk about social currency.
Yeah.
But before we do that, I would just love to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself to our audience.
Okay.
And maybe it can be about your upbringing. So it could be from childhood to how you find yourself in Modern Day Campfire today.
All right.
Yeah.
Hi guys, I am Liz. Extra is my middle name. I consider myself extra because I am like basic and me cannot be used in the same language or in the same sentence rather. So I have had quite a dynamic upbringing, I would say. It's not your usual I was born in this place, grew up, and then moved or something. I was constantly experiencing different environments, different cultures, and a lot of diversity. Yeah. For example, I went to, I think, 6 different schools. Yeah. So the first one I went to, the nursery school, it didn't have a primary section. So I had to move after pre-unit. Then that was in class 1, yeah. So after that, my parents decided we relocate. So that meant I had to shift to a different school, and it just didn't offer what my parents thought was good for me. They moved me to a different school. Then after that, it still felt badu. So I moved to another one. Then I stayed a bit longer in that school, yeah, until I think class 6 when we had new teachers, and hey, they were giving us a lot of homework. At some point, I would fake sicknesses so that I don't go to school.
This is class 6.
Yes, oh man, it was, hey, you're doing too much. So my mom was like, okay, you know what? We'll just shift you to a different school that feels right for you. And then kidogo kidogo, we had to relocate again. So that meant I shifted schools again. Yeah. But now in campus, I mean high school and campus, I was in one school throughout. Yeah. So among the things I have done in life, I volunteered under Scripture Union, and I met people who are in the field of mental health, like psychologists. For others, they're just mental health advocates, mental health enthusiasts, and I got to volunteer for one such organization. And we had an event last year. In that event, I met a certain lady who, I'd say this was God ordained, because she took an interest in me, and this is based off of how I was conducting myself. And she like requested me to just come on board and work with her. So there were, the first time it just wasn't the right time, and the second time, and then eventually I was able to be onboarded. Now this is Nawi Global, yeah, and I have gotten a lot of autonomy, yeah, which allowed me to even invite you on, was this thing, Instagram Live. Yes. So that interaction, of course, you loved my amazing personality and invited me here today. But yeah, that's how I got to Modern Day Campfire.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, and I'm happy it's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is another like second project. Yeah, and many more of these.
Yeah.
So today we are talking about social currency. Yeah. What will you promise our audience to be able to gain by the end of this conversation?
Insight.
Okay.
Absolutely insight. In this era, I feel like social currency is one thing that should be taught more than trying to make money. Yeah, because who you bring along on your way to the top really matters. Yes. So I'd say insight and maybe a few pointers. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And I hope we will be able to keep that promise. We will. Yeah, that's for sure. So, what is social currency to you, and why is it important?
Social currency, actually, my first interaction with the word was social capital. Yeah. So people really underestimate how much you can do with people. You know how they say, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with people. Yes. So it really matters, because how people perceive you determines how they receive whatever you have to offer, whether it's a service, whether it's a product, or a goods and services. Yeah. So for me, modern currency is social currency, sorry, is the reputation that you have out there, and it is your value in terms of both online and offline interactions. Yeah.
Yeah, that is well put. And in Kenya, just to be specific, in Kenya, do you have someone in mind who you kind of feel like their social currency is at a level that you'll consider them your role model?
Mm, actually, yeah. I would say Nyawira Gashugi. That's Muji Shot Baba's wife.
Okay.
Yes, the founder of Misunderstood Community. Yes. So she has positioned herself in very different spaces that align with her values and her brand and what she wants to put out there, such that you can see it even in her festivals, in her events, in all her gatherings, basically. Yeah. So that would be her for me.
And when you say like she has positioned herself with things that aligns with her values, What values are we talking about here?
First of all, she's a Christian. Yeah. And personally, when I listen to her in any space, whether it's her YouTube, Instagram, or in the events that I've attended, I feel like, oh my God, I need to be reading my Bible more. Yeah. And that is always something that I find is a unique factor in her. So it makes me want to consume her content more. Yeah. And so when I say like one of her like core values is Christianity, you can see from the places she serves in. For example, there's this conference I attended. It was a Christian leadership conference where they teach you biblical principles of doing business, right? And then she serves in her church, City Lighters, yeah. And you can see the kind of events that she's invited to, the kind of platforms that she's invited to. There will always be that theme. There will always be somebody who has maybe come out boldly about their faith in Jesus, yeah. So that is one value system. And then she also is very big on friendship. So you can see how, for example, her friends, Wanju and Ben Psycho, they go a long way. Yeah. It's not, oh, I became famous and then now I want to hang out with the elite. No, there was process. Yeah. And something else is self-esteem and confidence. Actually, she's a confidence coach. And you can always tell from the way she presents herself, she does not come as small. She does not try to diminish herself or the people who she interacts with. She's always encouraging people like go out there, celebrate your wins, you know, like show up as your best self, you know, and she herself lives that she lives that out, yeah. So basically, those are just a few of the things that shape her value system from my observation.
And the other person? That is a good observation.
Yeah.
A very profound observation. Yeah.
The other person is my mom.
Your mom. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she's very big on nurturing relationships and maintaining them. As simple as the shop that you go to. You get, like, you cannot have a shop that's just outside your house, but now you go miles and miles instead of, you know, supporting the community around you. Yeah, I know that people will argue, oh, some of them, they're not nice, so they don't offer good services, but you'll never know unless you interact with them. Yeah. So that's one of the things. And there's this cyber that I go to when I'm at home. She has been friends with the owner since campus. Yeah, so anytime I want to get printing done, I mean, there's so many cybers around where I live, but she will always send me to a specific one. You get, so it's a lifelong like relationship, or even with suppliers, or with customers, or with friends. Yeah, some people are like, they go way back. We grew up in the same village. When we all like got married, had kids, we're still friends. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Yes.
And from what also I'm getting from how you are looking at social currency from both offline and online.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just do have I have a question, like putting the key elements of social currency, which are credibility, influence, value exchange, identity, and the other one Kikuja, I will tell you. Which one are you struggling with the most, and which one are you thriving at the most currently? Because you are in both spaces. When I talk about online, you have like a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Stawi Global is online. And when I talk about offline, like the experience the interaction we've had, like it tells a lot about also your offline social currency. Yeah. So putting in mind credibility, your influence, your value exchange, your identity, in terms of identity, and yeah, the other one in the south. Like, which one are you thriving at the moment, and which one are you struggling with at the moment? Especially in terms of value exchange, would you consider your YouTube channel as I will consider it. The name of the YouTube channel is
Liz.extra.
Extra.
Yeah.
Liz.extra. So like you get to teach people life hacks. It could be cooking and everything. And currently you're venturing at sharing your experience as a early 20-year-old person. So like you are offering value there. In my opinion, with persistency and consistency, I believe you are thriving there. So in other things, where are you struggling at?
Okay, fun fact. Actually, value exchange. You see, like just me being here right now, that is actually value exchange, because there's the perception that comes with being associated with certain people, or just basically just walking around with them. For example, if you meet a man who is accompanied by like a really pretty lady, she looks like she has her life together, she looks like she's, she has her thing going, there's a way you'll perceive that man. Yeah. And to take it maybe a notch higher, if somebody is married and the wife seems put together, you'll be like, oh, this man is doing a good job. Yeah. But now if the wife looks kidogo ni kama kuna shida mahali, it will shape the perception you have of this man. Yeah, so for me, that's one of the way that value can also be exchanged. Yeah, it doesn't have to be, I don't have to say anything, I don't have to pay for anything, I don't have to give you something. Just by me, with all the self-work I have put in myself, just being in the same space with you, that is value.
That is right.
That's valuable.
For some reason, I can consider that as an identity.
Really?
Yeah, in terms of like the fact, in terms of you being here. Let me just give you an example. You being around Modern Day Campfire, there are people who see Modern Day Campfire as a very, very important thing.
Yeah.
You being part of it, it's like identifying yourself with it. So those people who value Modern Day Campfire can pursue that. There are people who value Story Global, and there are people who have a very, very good relationship with you. Seeing me around you, like it's like identifying myself with you, and for that reason, they will consider me as also important for the fact that but there are people who have the interaction you've had with them. It's been about the spiritual journey, to a point that maybe they put you on a certain pedestal, I'll say. So at the moment they see me around you, they pick me as that type of a person. So like now my identity, it's kinda your identity. It's like I'm using your identity so for some reason I can consider that as an identity.
I mean, it makes sense. But I feel like for me, identity is a standalone. Because for you to invite me here, there's something that you saw that be like, oh yeah, I'd want to be associated with that. So now that's where the value exchange comes in. Yeah. Or how I present myself, like on social media, and then somebody decides, oh yeah, I'd like to follow her, I'd like to subscribe to her channel, I'd like to maybe give this video a like, because there's something about how I present myself. So you see, it's the perception that I have created online and offline, that people maybe relate to, or they like, or they want to, see where's this going, what's she about, and stuff. Yeah. So for me, that is what identity means. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Then I have to this is what I will point out.
Yeah.
Also, like now this is what I look at: value exchange.
Okay.
What you've said, like, okay, now I'm sharing with you something to a point now, like, okay, now it can be, there are cases where maybe I'm teaching important stuff. So maybe teaching, you get to teach people how to prepare chocolate, very nice chocolate. Yeah. The candles also.
Yeah.
So like, for me just seeing that work, then now I award you with a like, a comment, a share. Now for some reason it's like we are exchanging values. But for identity, I feel like now people now
Wait, so if you like,
yeah.
what's the value I'm getting from you? It's the value, I mean the likes accumulating.
Yeah, the likes because the likes
Okay.
plays something in algorithm. Yeah, so like it's like there are people who will literally send you money. You've seen those videos where people have like
PayPal,
until
yeah.
there are people who will send you money. There are people who will like your video. There are people who will share your video. There are people who will comment on your video.
Yeah.
So I feel like the aspect of sharing your video, it can be in form of also identity, because like you've seen those videos that you, by just posting them, it tells something about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are those videos like, okay, if you are maybe in a spiritual journey, if I post videos on Christianity or on Muslims, people might see me as a staunch Muslim or a staunch. So that can be part of an identity, but also at the same time, it's like now to me there is a value exchange. Now I've given you an important information. Now you have given back by sharing my videos.
Yeah.
Okay. Now me being part of Starry Global, me being working on something with you, it's like there are people like on my end. It can be like I'm not like excluding the the value exchange part.
Yeah.
Yeah, like here we are also sharing information. So both of us, we are gaining the value exchange. But to you as an individual, you are benefiting in terms of an identity. There is someone who only knows Modern Day Campfire.
Yeah.
And they are a staunch follower,
Yeah.
but they don't know Story Global. But now seeing you as part of it, they will even follow Story Global through Modern Day Campfire.
Yeah.
So that can be in terms, that is an identity I am giving you. Same, there is someone who is a strong follower of Story Global, but they don't know Modern Day Campfire.
Yeah.
But now noticing like, okay, Story Global and Modern Day Campfire can work together. Now for that reason, they come. Now that is true identity, I would say. So what I'm noticing from this conversation, it's that yeah, they can work together on the same thing. In the same way.
They
Correlate.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. So where are you struggling as an individual, and where do you feel like you are thriving and you feel in control?
Okay. I think I'll take you back to identity just a bit.
Yes, it's
because I feel like when you carve out a path, anytime you interact with people, the interaction should not like reshape it.
Reshape you or the reshape
let me like you see with identity, I feel like identity it's something that you should have before you even get into like online offline interaction. Yeah. Such that when I meet you and you're, say, a Muslim and I'm a Christian, I won't think, I should convert. I'm like, no. I'm like, I'll create space for you, but I am still a Christian. Or if I don't drink, yeah. So you see, if my identity has not been carved out, if I meet people who drink, especially social drinkers, because that is the easiest to justify. Yes. So if I don't drink, either for religious or health reasons, if I meet somebody who drinks, if my identity has not been carved out, I'm more likely to think, oh, one glass won't hurt. It's just half a glass. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm in the space right now where I'm trying to carve that out. One person once said, you should define success before it comes. So that when things start happening, you won't term that as success, and it won't be based off of what other people think. I'll give you an example. Right now you have a podcast. There's a goal that you have. There's a reason why you started Modern Day Campfire. But if I come to you and I tell you, oh, but you have 1,000 subscribers, that means you're doing well. But your goal was something different. It may shift your focus to start, trying to get more subscribers, even buying subscribers, because that is what I have defined as success to you. But you see, it was defined prior, you will stick to the course, whether the subscribers come or not, whether you get the brand deals or not. Yeah, so that is currently where I am at. Like, what is my value system? What are my boundaries? What are my non-negotiables? And this even shapes how I show up in relationships. If we meet up, and personally I don't like loud music, so if we meet and you're insisting, let's have a session in the club, best believe I'm gonna say no. Basically, if I had not like made that decision before, I would probably consider it, and then I'd be so uncomfortable throughout the session, and I'd be thinking, oh, I wish I'd not have gone. Yeah. So that's where I am at. Like, when people hear the name Liz Extra, what do I want them to think? What is that unique value proposition? What should they expect? Yeah, I'm not saying being fit in a box, but no, there's just that maybe one thing, two things, three things that when they hear comes to mind. Yeah, and when they interact with my content, what do I want them to get? What do I want them to feel? What do I want them to experience? What is the impact that I want to leave with them? So yeah.
Yeah, and also I feel like we are on the same level.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I would also want to be curious to see how, like, what are you doing about that? Because for the modern day campfire, like, my intention is to come up with a content where, like, people can be like, it can be a content like you have to work on a certain discipline, like you watching it on a daily basis. People can add it to their routine, and you see, like, the way going to gym, you do for physical exercise. Then when you don't go, you kind of beat yourself, you feel like a failure. So I'm intending to come up with a content whereby I can be offering that information, so like, people can rely it on a daily basis, and at the moment they miss, they won't be complaining about, oh, like, I'm struggling with screen time. When you watch other content, that is sometimes how we feel. Like, you feel like it is an unhealthy thing to do, but I want it, like, as much as social media is concerned, it should be like something healthy to consume. And what I'm working on that is also, at the moment, currently, what I'm doing in the dark is to read very helpful book to widen my perspective, and it cut across Christianity, health, life, money, like, it cut across all those aspects. So out of curiosity, what are you doing maybe in the dark?
They say don't wash your linen in public. Okay, I'd say like the same thing, personal development. I'm currently in a space where I am growing my skills. Yeah, and it has really taken me back to God, because again, the person who can define purpose to me is my creator, because he knows why he made me, right? Yes. So, you can be going in one direction, but you're going fast, but it's the wrong direction, the wrong direction, the wrong destination. So I usually find myself in spaces where I'm thinking, will I wake up 10 years from now and wish I had done things differently or taken a different path? So much of it has been me going back to God, honestly, because I'm like, I cannot try to do this life on autopilot, number one. And then secondly, I also want to be putting my effort in the right thing. Yeah. So it's learning as much as I can and really working on my prayer and word life, because I believe the Bible is my manual as a Christian. Yes. So being consistent with that, and therapy, absolutely therapy. A lot of there's a lot of, what's the word, stereotype around therapy, but it gives you words for seasons that you're in, like experiences that you've had, and that is how I realized the correlation between boundaries and values. Yeah, because when you have your values defined, you know what your boundaries should look like. Yeah. So being
let me just take you back before we continue.
Okay.
So you've said there are a lot of stereotypes on therapy. What are those stereotypes?
Okay, some people think if you're in therapy, you're crazy.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Or even worse, you're mad. And some people think if you're in therapy, you have rich people problems. You get, like, there's just a lot of, when you say you're in therapy, there's something people think, what's wrong with you? What happened? Are you traumatized? Did you experience, sorry to say this, but harassment in whatever way, or something like that? You know, maybe if you went through a breakup, and you are in therapy, the first thing they think, oh my God, it was so bad. It was so bad you needed to go for therapy, but not really. Maybe there are things you realized, maybe patterns that you saw, or you're just choosing to invest in yourself. Yeah, because one of the things that therapy does for you is help you become more self-aware. Because you see, right now, somebody might listen to me talk and they identify with something, but it's still not personalized. I won't go back to your story, maybe the person viewing. I don't know what happened that brought you where you are. Was it childhood trauma? Was it one experience that just completely changed your life? Yeah. So with therapy, we get to go like to the root. We're not just fixing the symptoms, which is what a lot of could do. Yeah.
Hi, Liz.
Hi.
Welcome to Modern Day Campfire.
Thank you.
What is one thing people do get wrong about you?
My personality type. Yeah. A lot of people assume because of the way I'm jumpy and a good conversationalist and confident that I am an extrovert, but I'm actually the queen of introversion. So yeah.
Okay. How are you feeling about the session so far?
Exciting. It's a new experience. So
is it your first podcast?
No, not quite.
Okay.
I do have a YouTube channel myself. I
do
have
you have podcast?
A podcast? No.
Okay, what do you do in your YouTube channel?
Oh, I talk about navigating your 20s. So this is basically what I am learning in my 20s, and also from other people that I've interacted with, people I know, and people whose content I have consumed. So maybe borrowing a leaf from that and just bring life together as a 20-year-old. Yeah.
Impressive. And where is that shooting from? It is a new thing, not new thing, but it is a new thing. Like, this is what we experience on our early 20s. We talk about it, but taking it that further, it's a new thing and so creative of you. So where is that shooting from?
Actually, there's this one time I was listening to, I think it was a webinar, yeah, and this was a Christian webinar, and they were talking about having a niche and basically content creation and what you put out there. So I felt led by the Spirit. I'm a believer, yeah. And it was just very vivid, like just talk about navigating your 20s. So it kept probing at me, and I didn't do much about it for like a whole year. I was giving excuses, like a lot of people do anytime you want to start something new, and eventually everything just aligned. So that's where I'm at currently. Yeah.
And what is your greatest goal at the moment?
My greatest goal is to create impact. Yes, and I'm not saying this like superficially or because it sounds nice, but I feel like we are in a space where it's more of, this is what is happening in my life. I want you to see the highlights, but I would want to be able to take people on that journey with me. How to say, in your broke days, and now you have money, so that you can see there's a process and learn from it and be encouraged. So if me sharing my journey with you or being vulnerable about something that happened will help you see that the situation you're in, you will actually get out of it eventually, I'm all for that.
And have you started that journey?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Yeah.
And okay, okay, interesting. And could you just uh, take us through, like, how does that journey look like for you, and what platform or the name of the organization or the context of it?
Okay. So I run operations at Stawi Global, which is a mental health organization. And one of the reasons why I was drawn to it is the focus on people on the healing journey. Yeah. So healing sounds very Gen Z-ish, and it sounds like really like a cool thing to be doing, you know. But when you get into the thick of it, it's actually really messy. So we hold your hand during this process. And another way is on my YouTube channel, I share different aspects of my own journey as a 20-year-old. Yeah. So it could be maybe moving out, or relationships, or the job market. You get, if you maybe are hired, you're working for someone, or you want to get into employment, or you're just in this awkward state of trying to figure life out. So I give you maybe tips that have worked for me in that stage, and whatever phase I am in right now, I share that as well. And then we can figure things out together. Maybe read the comments and see somebody saying I was in a similar situation, this is what I did, but I'm currently there, and let's hold each other's hand as we try to navigate our way out of it. So that's the other way. I also love to serve in different capacities, and one of them is in church. So one of the departments that I'm in involves print media. So we do like blogs based on the service and the sermon that was shared that day. And one of the reasons I love that is I get to share I share the sermon based on my own perspective. This is what it meant to me, and I'm sharing this with you. Maybe you will personalize it. Maybe it will make sense to you that way. Yeah.
Impressive. And I'm just stuck on the part that you are. I've noticed you are into service, and even from our earlier conversations, you are someone who is really, really into service.
Yeah.
And out of curiosity, where is that shooting from? Is it something that your parents played a part? Is it something that, like, when did it start? Was it in high school? Has it been your journey since you were born? Has it been after campus, before campus?
The Christianity or the service part of it?
All of it.
Oh, wow. So growing up, my mom took me to Sunday school. I usually start my story from there because that's where my journey of salvation began. Yeah. And I loved the experience. So Christianity, Jesus, the Bible became personal to me at a very young age. And that is something I am grateful for every single day, because honestly, it kept me from certain things that people my age would normally do. So it also gave me hope. It also helped me see the world from a different perspective. And then with time, as this has become like really personal to me, Christianity has become a lifestyle. So it's part of me. You cannot put Liz on the side and then Christianity candle. We come as a package. Yeah. So another thing that maybe people would notice if you interact with me is I'm very, like, I take initiative. Yeah, I'm a leader. So I cannot be in church and just be coming to church every Sunday, sit, listen to the sermon, go home. At some point, I will feel the need to help out in this area or in this other area. So that aspect of being initiative, like initiating things, is what makes me serve in different capacities. And there are times when it's the Lord who leads me there. For example, when I was volunteering after high school with an organization called Scripture Union, it was something that God placed in my heart, and I started serving in Sunday school, and then I found myself volunteering with Scripture Union, which deals with children ministry and just teaching and training and all that amazing stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
That is awesome. And you are also heavy on Christianity, and that is really, really a good thing. And maybe if you were to break down to a 3-year-old, explaining to them what Christianity is to you, how would you explain it?
To a 3-year-old. It's a very good question. Could you say that again, please?
Okay, if you were to break down what Christianity is to a 3-year-old,
Yeah.
how will you break it down?
Okay. So, Christianity is you deciding that you no longer want to do life alone, and you are trusting a higher power who already wants to do this with you, who already loves you, who already cares about you, who would give anything for you, and you choose to do life with them, knowing that whatever they think about, like whatever they think of you, is the very best. They cannot harm you. They cannot, because a 3-year-old understand harm. They cannot do anything bad to you. Yes, and they will always be there for you. Yeah.
Impressive. Thank you for that. In Modern Day Campfire, we also do have a culture whereby the last guest leaves a question for the next guest. And our last guest was Abdurrahim. And this is the question he left for you.
All right. Should I read it out loud?
Yes, please.
Okay. Would they have told you if you didn't notice fast? So the question before this is, did you break up with them or did they break up with you? So I'm guessing this means whatever the reason for the breakup was, would they have told you if you didn't find out fast? Yeah. So the assumption here is I was in a relationship and now we're broken up. Yeah. Oh man. If I didn't notice fast, no, they wouldn't have.
That is your answer.
Yes.
Okay. I'll give you time to write the question for the next guest
Okay.
while preparing for the next session.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. Bye. Yeah, that is well put. And you've talked about having like knowing your values.
Yeah.
It creates a well-defined boundaries.
Yeah.
And like also for social currency, like there is certain principles that now the rewards is the social currency,
Yes.
which kind of count at the moment. So what is your relationship between values and principles? Is there a difference between the two?
Values and principles.
Yeah. How do you understand the two?
I feel like principles are timeless truths. Yeah. For example, the principle of seed time and harvest. Seed time and harvest. Yes. Like if you plant, you will
harvest.
Yeah, and that's whatever you plant, that's what you will harvest. Yeah, you wouldn't plant beans and then harvest maize. That is a principle. You cannot. You get. But now with values, it's what shapes how I show up. You know, like what shapes live. You get what are maybe my non-negotiables. You get how, like when I'm interacting with people, what are some of the things that maybe I expect or would like from them and also give. For example, kindness. Yeah. Or Christianity is a value system. Or what else? Maybe growth mindset. Yeah.
Your morals.
Yes. So for me, that's the difference.
Okay. Thank you for that. And do you think, like, if we are looking at it in terms of reward system, so we share the same principle. we all desire maybe to create an impact. Okay, no, we all desire to be wealthy. Okay, so what is the impact of values in our, because I've seen cases whereby like values doesn't, you can, okay, you can get someone who is very greedy, not someone who is very greedy, someone who is very, let's say, like values can be bad or good, but still the reward is the same. So do you think like what is the role of values in our reward system as much as principle is considered? Because I've seen those people who are even like the worst criminals, and yet maybe they are still considered as successful people. And if we look at sometimes what success is, you can like they are justified to be in the scope. And then there are people who maybe they have very good values, but because of maybe the principle, maybe they don't desire to be wealthy, now they don't get the reward. Maybe they may end up maybe in like in a place where they don't want to be in life. So what is the role of value in our reward system?
Um, Values
Mhm.
will determine who you become when you get the reward.
Mhm.
Yeah, you've heard of people say, "Oh, when he became wealthy, he changed."
Mhm.
Very likely, he was that person. It's just that it couldn't show in the circumstance that he was in. Yeah.
Mhm.
There's this person who I really respect. He's called Apostle Joshua Salman. He says, you cannot call somebody humble if they don't have options.
Mhm.
Yeah. So money gives you options.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now that you have money and you can go to Kempinski, I remember using that example. Yeah, you can go to Kempinski every other day. You feel like, now I can talk to the waiter the way I want. But now, before money came, you had to be nice to everybody because you don't want to be mean to somebody and maybe they're your ticket to quote unquote success.
Mhm.
You get.
Mhm.
So if I am already a kind person,
Mhm.
whether I have little or I have much,
Mhm.
I'll be willing to share.
Sure.
Yes. Okay, generous is the best word because kindness can be in action, doesn't have to be like with tangible things.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. If I am an honest person,
Mhm.
whether you give me 100 bob or you give me integrity,
Mhm.
for example, integrity is a value, whether you give me 100 bob or you give me 1 million, I'll still be like honest and trustworthy.
Mhm.
You get. If I am a good steward of resources, when I'm having maybe 5,000 bob and I'm having 1 million, I'll be able to budget it and I'll be able to use it well, whether it's the 5 or it's the 1 million. Even the Bible says, whoever is faithful with little is faithful with much. Like, don't wait for the much to come for you to start being faithful or being a good steward. So you see, the values will shape whether you, like, when you grow into the business, like Modern Day Campfire becomes a huge business. If you're faithful with it right now, your value system is that you're a faithful person. You get.
Yeah.
So when it becomes big, you'll still be able to manage it. Why? Because you are already a faithful person.
Mhm.
Yeah. Or what's another example I can think of?
That is perfect. Like, that is perfect. Yeah, that is perfect. So like, okay, like I just wanted that concept here. Values truly shows itself after the reward. So
Yeah, like values is what will preserve the reward.
the reward.
Yeah.
So the sustainability of
Exactly.
that success, it will be determined by the value. And this
Exactly.
value that we are talking about still goes to what social currency is. So if you have good values, now you just thrive. You thrive. But if you have bad values, maybe you'll just have the success.
Yeah.
But now social currency, now the thriving part, because what I'm coming to notice, as much as we God give us opportunities, God give us ideas, and He enables us. He also uses people to give us opportunities. There are opportunities that, like, if I had a better relationship with this person, God will just like he doesn't let Martin Sambia just thrives with modern day comfort along to the rest of his life. He also introduces people who gives it value. So like he also bring people, and this is where social currency comes in. My another question is, with what is happening, we've talked about social currency being acknowledged in both offline and online. And I've seen people who are doing very, very impactful things, including Stawi Global. And if you were to use online as a bar, our metric will be based on likes, comments, and shares. But this is the vice versa. You'll find those things that don't have much impact, that the one that are shooting, trending. Yeah. So that being the case, can people still rely on online as a form of social currency? And if they can, how can we, like, in what maybe metrics should we start measuring it with? Because now people do buy likes, people do buy views. Yeah, so for some reasons, I feel like we can't rely on that. What is your take on that?
I would say it depends on where you're at in life. Because if I'm on my healing journey, any person who shares practical things about healing, about mental health, about wellness, that will appeal to me. If I want to start a business, of course I'm going to look for people who talk about like starting a business, the do's, the don'ts, the pros, the cons, and all that good stuff, right? I like in my YouTube channel, somebody who is in their 20s and is trying to navigate it. You see, they know, oh, if I go to Liz's channel, I can get a few pointers, maybe about moving out. Maybe I want to know, should I move out? I hear her opinion. I go to somebody else's channel and they're talking about you're moving out in your 20s or something of that sort. So you as a creator, your job is to make sure that you're showing up consistently, first of all, and then secondly, you are showing up as your best self. When I say best self is, are you just doing this for the sake of the likes, or are you doing this because you know somebody could benefit from it? Now this is from this side. Now from the other side, the people who are viewing, their responsibility is to filter. What should I take, what should I not? Like how much of this is actually making me a better person? And one way to know that is, how do you feel after watching it? Do you feel drained, or do you feel empowered to act? Do you feel empowered to do something? There's this video I did about ChatGPT prompt to discover your authentic self. One of the comments I got is somebody cried while doing the exercise because it's very reflective. It shows you the masks that you've been wearing and the lies that you've been believing about yourself. And there's a prompt there about a message from your higher self. To remind you, you're actually not falling behind. You're just right where you need to be. Okay. So that is how I filter, like after interacting with somebody's content. How do I feel after? Do I feel empowered? Do I feel like, oh, I should take action? Or do I just feel like I wasted time? And also, do I find myself comparing myself to them? And is it, there's positive and negative comparison. There's the comparison where I feel like maybe I need to be doing better. But now there's the comparison where I feel like, oh, I'm actually falling back. They're doing better than me. Like, did they show you the process before you got to the point of thinking, I'm actually falling back in life?
Yeah.
Oh, and a disclaimer, not everything is what it seems.
Yeah, not everything is not as it seems. And like you brought a good aspect of showing up as your best self. And I believe authenticity was also in your mind. Authenticity. So also, like, what I'm noticing for social currency, the people who thrive with it now in both offline and online. So online, you brought a good aspect. Like, it's not about, like, as much as maybe the likes could be there, or could not be there. It's
Yeah.
not all about that.
Yeah.
It's about a view shared, what you really wanted to put out there, and the people who have interacted with it. How do they feel about it?
Yeah.
So was it impactful?
Yeah.
So if you can just be lucky enough to get that feedback, then your online journey as on your social currency, I would consider it as you are thriving.
Yeah.
You are thriving there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So authenticity plays a role. If you are authenticity, if you are apart from authenticity, if you are maybe to share something else. So we've talked about good values,
Yes, of course.
good principles, and also being authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else would you consider?
Self-improvement.
Self-improvement.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You also want to be able to put something like quality out there.
Mm-hmm.
We can't be watching your videos now and there's nothing different 2 years from now. You know, to be like, I Martin kidogo. Yeah. So constant improvement, I would say, and then also know your craft. Yeah. If you are, for example, you're an artist, right? So if you're constantly improving your art style, you see probably we can see the difference is actually growth. Yeah. Collaboration. Look what's happening here, because you also get to see and understand different perspectives.
While thinking, I will go back to also like personal improvement.
Yeah.
And I would say like like especially after identifying your needs and like because this is what I made peace with, and this is what we were also talking, and also you kind of experienced it. You told like for consistency,
Yeah.
you kind of have to have a definite desire.
Yeah.
When you have definite desire, now consistency will play a role. Now as you are being consistent, now this is when you also, I would also call it a self-reflection journey.
Yeah.
Because it was my first time I was observing myself talking for 6 minutes on my first video.
Yeah.
Now after videos, now I'm doing long videos.
Yeah.
Now it is my first time observing myself having a conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing, but then when I do that, like I can't remember what I was feeling then. And I will like like you get to learn yourself.
Yeah.
And you get to understand yourself. And you get to like, not everyone experiences this.
True.
Like not everyone knows even how they hold their conversation.
True.
How they normally react, how they are normal. There are those videos that are very nervous. And I can't sit, and like maybe people may not notice it, but I remember I was nervous and it hit me, okay, now this is how I normally react when I'm nervous. I didn't know. And there are those which I was very comfortable, and by just watching them I will be like, okay, now this is how I normally am when I'm comfortable. So like it kind of plays a role there. It might not be fast, but there will be improvements on a daily basis. And so for personal improvement, it plays on both. It gives you a pressure, a positive pressure to improve.
True.
And you also get to learn yourself. You get to, that is by the way, when I'm watching my videos are like a therapy to me, you know. So you've talked about that one, and you've talked about collaboration. I feel like collaboration can be like also allowing people into your space, you know, because like when you collaborate, we expect something new, you know.
That's true.
And like I've experienced that, because there are those things that there are those ideas you will challenge me. There are those ideas that you will share with me, and I will be open to, and it really plays. Like this one is, I would say it is a post feedback. Like collaborating with someone, how they will share with you how to implement. You know, there are those ones that now it's after the videos, and then you get, okay, I should improve on this. But this one, like you are experiencing a post feedback. Now you are trying to implement something new you've never done by just being open to it, and then sometimes it turns out as something dope. Sometimes it doesn't, and it's okay. Like it is an experience, as much as even if it doesn't, there is always something that you can get out of it. Maybe you can get the advantages of being open-minded.
Yeah,
yeah, and it shows it is a good quality also. Yeah, and yeah, social currency is really, really a good topic.
How do you filter feedback?
How do I filter feedback?
Yeah, you're like, yeah, maybe I should consider this, or like, this one is just hating on me.
I would say, I know I'm not special or anything, but I haven't reached that point whereby I'm getting those two negative feedback. I haven't gotten one at the moment, but if I will get one, there is something I understand. Like, we read our state of consciousness.
Yeah.
If your life is revolving around love, and my life is revolving around money, given the same article, you will understand what love is, and I will understand what money really is.
Yeah.
We read our state of consciousness. So when that person is viewing that video,
so it's like a bias.
they are watching the state of consciousness. So sometimes they might fail to see what I was putting out. Like I'm talking about eggs, but your state of consciousness is about chickens. So you will just try to look at the chickens in it. Sometimes when you don't see the chickens in it, you might give me the negative feedback. Others might shut down, or others might just ignore. Others might now try to look at the eggs. Putting that in mind, also people, like, it is just the reflection of themselves. Like, you can tell this is insecurity. You can tell this is abundance. This is secureness. Because, like, honestly, now when I talk about principles, something like compliments genuinely come from a point of secure. And then now the negative feedback, most of the time, especially how presented, when someone talks badly on your comment section, that is just not right, and it is coming from an insecure position. So if I was to do something about it, maybe I feel like maybe you should just delete it, because also keeping it there, it might bring a certain energy. Because now people read the state of consciousness. Someone now will come and see this egg, and then they will start looking at
by the way, where are the eggs?
Exactly. And they will get like, it's about the mindset. They will get that. So in case that happens, just I'll get, but I wouldn't be offended that now getting back at you. That is nice. You, how will you respond to a negative feedback? And have you ever gotten one?
I have, but now for me, I'm very observant, so I study pattern. Yes, so I think the one time that I remember, the few times I remember getting any negative, I would look at, so what's the background? Is this somebody who has been on the journey with me for long? Because now I'd consider maybe it's like constructive criticism, right? But if it's somebody who just showed up, I'd try and think, so from what angle or from where is this person coming from? Because some people project their insecurities onto you. Yeah. Yeah. For example, they don't like the color black, and I have shown up, and I'm wearing black, and then the comment would be like, "You didn't see any other top like you could wear for this." Basically, you don't like black doesn't mean I should have a problem with black. So it's just, just forget it. Then there are people who have done it consistently. And unfortunately, these are people who maybe I know in person. So there are people I will just tell, I don't think I want to enable this anymore. Then you realize, with one example, there's this friend who told me they had put me on a pedestal, so in their mind I had to show up as perfect. So anytime there's something that's, any imperfection, they feel they need to point it out. But I'm like, I'm just human. There's a time I will show up and I'm just having one of those days. You need to bear with me, because at the end of the day, I'll go to my journal and I'll write, I'm glad I showed up, regardless of the circumstance. So for me, that's a win. And then secondly, it's validating myself. One of the things that makes us look at the likes and the comments and feel some type of way is when we're looking for external validation. So I am making self-validation something constant. You see, when I got out of the house, I was already convinced that I look really bomb. So whether anyone tells me or not, it won't change like anything. I'm like, I should not have worn that outfit. No. By the time I was getting out of the house, I already knew, face card, check, outfit, check, like everything you get. So for me, that has been like really big, because sometimes I'll put something out there and somebody will be like, oh, you looked really nervous. But I'm like, no, I'm glad I did it. I'll just tell you that. I'm just glad I did it. I'm counting the win, yeah? As compared to, maybe you should have tried like a brighter background. Now that's constructive criticism, you get. So, yes, that is the pattern. And also, where are you, what's your current state of mind when you're reading that comment?
Yeah, thank you for that, Liz. Thank you for that, Liz. And what I'm getting from this conversation, when you talk about validation, I feel like as an individual, we should just work on our identity.
Exactly.
Yeah, like when your identity is built on something greater than yourself, and even sometimes even more than the work and more than the feedback out there, you will show up despite.
Yeah.
Despite one like, 1,000 like, you will show up. Despite the brand deals, no brand deals, you will show up. And having a dope identity, you can even choose the brand deals, because
to accept and chance to reject.
Yeah. Because advocating for mental health, it means there are things I can't, like that, like alcohol. It's something that I shouldn't be
promoting.
Exactly. So for that reason, like with strong identity, and you wouldn't feel like a loser when your identity is based on something bigger than ourselves. And back to Liz, it was learning and reading the Bible. It works best for her. So like, what are your values as an individual, and do they serve you? Is it something that makes you a better, because I feel like our main goal in life is to grow. And it's to grow, like to grow and to love, you know. So are you growing? Like the things, for me, like I love reading books, and it goes to, and it is like I would say I'm growing by doing that. Like I can tell I'm growing.
What are you currently reading?
Currently Thinking and Growing Rich.
Oh, Napoleon Hill.
Oh, you've read it already?
Yeah.
You should read it twice.
I will.
You feel like you should, like?
I should. I definitely should.
Yeah, it is another Bible, not written by, like it is a good book.
Did you just call it another Bible?
I'm sorry. I will consider it as a spiritual book.
Okay.
Yeah, it is another spiritual book.
Alright.
Yeah. So like, the question is, what is your identity built on? And like, that's something that is it something sustainable? Is it something that is growing? Is it something that is serving you? If you can answer those questions, I feel like you are on the right path, and you wouldn't seek outward validation, because this is what makes us now fall for anything.
Yeah, true.
Like it goes back to the people, because it plays a role. Like an example is when it comes to social currency, maybe the people who you're building that social currency, they value for one thing. And I'm not asking you, we can be many things, but like the people who you interact with also plays a role. They give you a certain identity.
That's true.
Yeah, because if maybe I was to bring someone and I come from a totally different field, I can bring someone who comes from a totally different field, and we can be creative still to advocate for mental health. From you as a teacher, from you as an engineer, from you as an artist, from you as a musician, from you as, we can do that. But in a kuna aspect, you can bring someone who, like, in a create, like now the mental health part in a lose value.
True.
Now it's them who are taking over. Yeah, now they are promoting stuff. And like, but when you have a better identity, and I'm not saying that we are perfect, like this is a journey. This is a journey that we are still striving, and aina goal. Like aina end,
timeline.
aina timeline. It's just a journey, and we pray that it keeps getting better. So maybe do you have a question for me, or a question for our audience, or maybe a punchline? Punchline for them.
Drop spike.
Ukiona Liz, they have like to pause the video and remember that.
I would say this is rhetorical question. Something to think about. Yeah. What is that one thing you always go to when everything else fails, or who gets a password? Yeah. So basically, what's your constant?
Ushajibu. Hadi ushajibu.
Well, it's different for different people, but I'd like to know in the comment section. Yeah.
Yeah, please do share. Nisi assume kila mtu amesema God.
Sasa mnafanya leakage.
Asimesema kila mtu ako na different perspective.
Yeah, because you'll be surprised.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised. Yeah, because one thing I have, maybe this is my own bias, but the reason there are things that people are indulging in because they're looking for God in them. Yeah. For example, there's somebody who, when they're stressed, they drink. For another person, when they're stressed, they smoke. Another person, when they're stressed, they maybe sleep around, or they sleep actually like in a bed. They sleep in a bed. That's why they're stressed, they sleep.
Yeah.
There are people, when they're stressed, they go for a walk. You get. That when they're stressed, they pray about it. You get. So, like, when all else fails, what is that one thing that, I know when I do this, when I go to this person, I can always arise like a phoenix.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Liz, and thank you our audience for your never-ending support. You're part of the reason we keep on doing what we are doing. So see you on the next video, and make sure you watch this. Thank you for watching again.
Thank you for coming this far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Cheers.